think Hackney matters for the older generation in Hackney. And one of the reasons why I joined Hackney Matters, so I can get involved and give help where it is needed.
We just wanted to join in because we wanted to make the borough better. And the meetings that the panel organised, as well as the service, I think the service as well helped, try to make the place better in terms that we can tackle first of all, see where there are problems and try to tackle the problems. Possibility to fill in forms, surveys about cycling transport in Hackney, recently about regeneration, what had been done, what we thought had changed.
Hackney Matters helps the community by listening to your voice, and I assure you, your voice is heard by Hackney Council. My
advice is to join the panel, the Hackney Matters, because you get rewarded, having fun, meeting people, tackling problems and making Hackney a great borough.
Hey everyone, it's Councillor Mete Koban here, your Cabinet member responsible for energy waste, transport and public realm. I'm here today in Clapton to talk to you about our exciting Green Homes programme, a £2 million investment from Hackney Council to help support you, our local residents, to reduce your energy bills and to help tackle the climate crisis. We supply grants for cavity loft and floor insulation, as well as trying out new grants for renewable heating upgrades such as heat pumps, solar panels and fuel cell boilers. Hundreds of you have already signed up to this programme.
We're very aware that prices are going up in the energy market. We just moved house into a 100-year-old place which needed upgrading. So I came across the scheme, not thinking that I'd be eligible for anything, but after lots of emails going back and forth, amazingly we have 10 solar panels on the house and also like the latest hydrogen fuel cell boiler.
This is a 3.75 kilowatt peak system. So at its peak, you can run all of your white goods. You can run your dishwasher, washing machine. It will also look after the base load of the property, such as your fridge, your lights, and anything else that's on standby. So when the sun's shining, you'll have more energy than you need, but this fuel cell generates electricity all the time. So as long as you're using less than about 700 watts produced by this, then you will be off-grid and your bills will be significantly reduced.
We're also conscious of our carbon footprint, so it'd be good if there's a difference to Hackney and to the wider environment.
The Green Homes programme is part of our commitment to reach net zero, protecting future generations from a potential climate disaster. We will do this by rebuilding a greener Hackney with cleaner air, healthier lives and better neighbourhoods. It's easy to find out if you're eligible for a grant. Search Hackney Green Homes to find out more.
You can do it. Simple DIY tips for your home. Many of us experience small repair problems from time to time. The You Can Do It instructional videos provide you with simple steps on how to carry out minor DIY jobs in your home. What to check if you have no heating. In this video, Daisy will show you what to check if your central heating is not working.
If you have no heating in your home, the first thing to check is your gas meter and your electricity meter to see if you have credit on them. Make sure your gas meter display reads on. If it does display off, give your gas provider a call. If you have credit, the next thing to check is your ECV. ECV means emergency control valve, which is always on the left-hand side of the gas meter. Next, you should check the pressure on the boiler. This should be between 1 and 2 if you have a visible pressure gauge. If you need help with increasing the pressure of your boiler, or if it is displaying a fault code, please contact the Hackney Repairs call centre. You need to open your radiator valve by turning it anti-clockwise, anywhere between 1 and 5. Now you should make sure that your programmer or timer displays on. These are usually located next to the boiler or cylinder. And finally, turn your thermostat up and your heating should work.
We hope that this video has been helpful. If you are still experiencing problems with your central heating, please call the Hackney Repairs Contact Centre or report the repair online. Why not take a look at our other You Can Do It instructional videos for helpful DIY tips around your home? You Can Do It. Simple DIY tips for your home. Many of us experience small repair problems from time to time. The You Can Do It instructional videos provide you with simple steps on how to carry out minor DIY jobs in your home. How to unblock a sink. In this video, Daisy will show you how to unblock a sink.
The first thing we're going to do is check underneath the sink, making sure all the pipes are capped. To make sure that there's no leak, just put a cloth underneath to catch any water. This is the plunger that we will be using to unblock the sink today. Get a cloth or a sponge to cover the overflow. If you need help or assistance with this, you can get a friend. Place the plunger over the plug hole. Remember to cover the overflow as to stop the blockage coming up through the overflow. Then plunge away. If it's still slow or blocked, you can just carry on plunging. The best way to make sure that the sink is unblocked is to fill it up with water, pull the plug out and make sure that it runs away. Common causes of sink blockages include fat, oil, food and hair. We would recommend using a plug strainer to prevent future blockages. If the water runs away, then the job is complete. Check underneath the sink to see if there are any leaks.
For your safety, remember to place a cloth under the pipes in case of leaks. Remove waste safely. Get someone to help if needed. Use cold water. We hope that this video has been helpful. If your sink continues to be blocked, please contact the Hackney Repairs Contact Centre. Why not take a look at our other You Can Do It instructional videos for helpful DIY tips around your home?
You Can Do It. Simple DIY tips for your home. Many of us experience minor household repair problems from time to time. The You Can Do It instructional videos provide you with simple tips on how to carry out minor DIY jobs within your home. How to prevent damp and mold. In this video, Shahid will show you tips to combat existing damp and mold and prevent new mold growth. A common cause of mold in the home is condensation. This occurs when excess warm moisture in the air comes into contact with cooler air or a cold surface. Everyday activities such as cooking, showering and bathing, and drying clothes indoors can cause condensation. You can take some simple steps to reduce condensation, helping to prevent damp and mold.
There are three main ways to prevent condensation in your home. Number 1, stop excess moisture building up. Number 2, ventilate your home. And number 3, keep your home warm.
Stop excess moisture building up.
To stop excess moisture from building up, wipe down surfaces where moisture settles. Cover boiling pans when cooking. When cooking, bathing and drying clothes, make sure you close the door behind you to prevent steam from going into the colder rooms of the property, even after you've finished. Avoid using a radiator to dry your clothes. If you are drying your clothes inside, use a closed area and make sure you open the window and close the door.
Ventilate or air your home.
To ventilate your home, open windows. Turn on extractor fans, especially when you are cooking, washing or drying clothes. Open a window for a while each day, or use the trickle vents which are normally located above the window. Trickle vents can be opened by sliding or pulling the bar towards you. Once opened, you should be able to feel the airflow with your fingers. It is very important that you do not block air vents. Allow air to circulate around furniture and cupboards. You can do this by not overfilling your cupboards and allowing space between your furniture and the wall.
Keep your home warm.
Draft proofing will help to keep the home warmer and also reduce the cost of fuel bills. When the property is warmer, condensation is less likely to form. Maintain low heat when the weather is wet and cold. This is more effective than having short bursts of high heat. If you don't have heating in every room, open the door to allow the heat to circulate around the home.
Other causes of damp. Damp in walls and ceilings can be caused by condensation, but there are other causes of damp such as leaking internal and external pipes, rising damp, which is caused by moisture from the ground into the walls of buildings, which results in structural damage. Penetrating damp is generally caused by a problem with the building, allowing rainwater to penetrate through into the home.
To treat existing mold, wipe down the affected areas using specialist mold spray. This can be found at most supermarkets and hardware stores. Do not use bleach or washing up liquid to remove mold. Also, do not disturb mold by brushing or vacuuming because this can increase the risk of breathing problems. Treat any mold that you may already have in your home, then follow previous steps to reduce condensation. This will restrict new mold growth. Throw away any cloths you have used to clean the mold. Clothes that have mold growing on them should be dry cleaned and carpets with mold on them should be shampooed. After treatment of the affected areas, redecorate if needed using good quality fungicidal paint to help prevent mold reoccurring. This paint is not effective if overlaid with ordinary paints or wallpaper.
For your safety, remember to always use gloves when handling mold spray. Use a mold spray that carries a Health and Safety Executive approved number, making sure you follow the manufacturer's instructions. Dispose of cleaning cloths. We hope that this video has been helpful. More information on damp and mold can be found on the Hackney Homes website. If you're experiencing leaking pipes, rising or penetrative damp, please call the Repairs Contact Centre. Why not take a look at our other You Can Do It instructional videos with helpful DIY tips around your home. You can do it. Simple DIY tips for your home. Many of us experience minor household repair problems from time to time. The You Can Do It instructional videos provide you with simple tips on how to carry out minor DIY jobs within your home. How to change a bathroom light bulb. In this video, Nadeem will show you how to change the light bulb in your bathroom.
To change a light bulb, first thing you need to do is switch the light switch off and isolate the fuse. Locate your fuse box and turn your lighting switch off. Always remember to use a secure step ladder. A Phillips screwdriver will also be required to remove the cover of the light. To remove the cover, use a Phillips screwdriver and turn the screws anti-clockwise. Once all the screws have been removed, take off the cover. To remove the bulb, gently pull down from the middle. To replace the light bulb, line up the pins and push up. To replace the cover, line all 3 screws and turn the screw clockwise. To check it works, flick the trip switch back on and pull the cord.
For your safety, remember to always use a safe, securely erected ladder. Avoid standing on the top rung of the ladder. Avoid standing on the side of the bath. Always wear flat shoes when using ladders. Get someone to help if needed. Remember to turn off the electricity before you begin. Dispose of the light bulb safely. We hope that this video has been helpful. If you're still experiencing problems with your bathroom lighting after completing these steps, please call the Hackney Repairs Contact Centre. Why not take a look at our other You Can Do It instructional videos with helpful DIY tips around your home.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name's Steve Waddington. I'm the Strategic Director for Housing for London Borough of Hackney, and I'm pleased to welcome you all to our virtual Leaseholder and Freeholder conference session this morning. It's really pleased that so many of you have been able to join us and registered to join us. I think it's well over 130 people that have registered, and hopefully there'll be more joining as well. I want to say an introduction and welcome to you all, but I also want to introduce myself to you. I've been working for London Borough of Hackney for just over 4 months now as the Strategic Director, having moved from Doncaster, where I was the Director for Housing and Customer Services. I've got a background in housing and building maintenance, having worked in the housing sector in both areas for over 30 years. So I bring a good grounding to the organisation. And I think, having been here for 4 months so far, I think I wanted to share some of the really good things that I've seen. Obviously, I think some of the areas where I think we all recognise where we need to improve as well. I think in those first 4 months, I've seen some real dedicated individuals, some people that have got a passion to improve the way we deliver services and to make sure that those services are resident focused. And I think not all our services have been focused and had that focus around residents in the past. I think I've been impressed with some of our response to the cyber attack, and I'll touch on that later. But I think staff and myself, and probably yourselves as well, are frustrated in just how long it's taking us to recover from that. And we've got some more information on that later. But we are working and have got companies working on our behalf as quickly as possible to make sure that the systems that we build back are really good. My role as Strategic Director predominantly covers everything to do with managing and maintaining and improving all our 30,000 homes. So I'm just seeing that my mic is a little bit quiet. I'll try and move towards the screen a little bit, so apologies for that. I think, as like I said, my role is managing everything to do with managing, maintaining and improving the 30,000 homes that we have in Hackney, including the nearly 9,500 leaseholders and freeholders. And I think we recognise that the nature of the traditional leaseholder is changing. We're building new properties, so we've got a lot of people that are coming in that are buying those properties, and some of those are quite expensive as well. We've got a lot of leasehold shared ownership. We're starting to see more shared ownership, but we also recognise as well that probably almost 50% of the leasehold properties are sublet. And we recognise that actually that brings an additional responsibility on leaseholders as landlords to their tenants, and that sometimes some of the impacts of that actually fall back on ourselves as the building and freeholders. I think I can't present and talk to you today without talking about the difficulties that we've all had over the last 12, 18 months, particularly the pandemic. I think it has adversely affected our ability to deliver services, our visibility, our availability and presence within the estates. And that's something that I'm keen to see that we bring back, and we bring back relatively quickly, and that we reset our approach as a landlord and as a freeholder to be visibly present within communities. I think Hackney as well has also had the difficulties and the extra difficulties associated with the cyber attack, and that actually, fundamentally wiped out practically every IT system and every little bit of data that the council had. I wasn't in Hackney at that time, but certainly talking to the directors that were, and the lead director for ICT, actually that morning in October last year, practically we had no access to anything. And that's a scary place to be, and I've been really impressed with how collectively we've responded, but I've also been really impressed collectively by how residents have responded and shown patience with that. But I also recognise that 12 months on, actually we want to be further on than we are now. You want us to be further on than we are now, and we're working as hard as we can to do that. Some of the reason why it's taken so long is in the first instance, we had to build temporary systems and workarounds just to enable us to continue to function, and that took some time. And now we've had those temporary workarounds in place. We're now moving on to actually developing much more integrated and permanent systems that will enable us to provide, excellent service to yourselves as leaseholders and freeholders. We've got a lot of work that we're doing around that, and we've got a presentation by Daniel Finney from our housing transformation team, and he will go into a lot more detail and tell you about some of the initiatives with regards to that. We're also in the process of reviewing our latest satisfaction data, which will help us inform the range of improvements that we want to bring in, and importantly that you want us to do. We've got Gilbert, who's our Divisional Head of Tenancy and Leaseholder Services, who is going to do a presentation, and he will take you through some of the results in that. Without stealing Gilbert's thunder, I think it's fair to say that understandably the satisfaction has reduced, but we're keen to build that back up and to make sure that when we rebuild those IT systems, we make them flexible and intuitive to meet your needs as residents, so that you can access the services that you need. So we've got a lot of priorities and work around that. I think my key priorities for housing services, and I've been sharing this with staff since I started, but it is quite simple really. I want us to be the best. We can talk about what best actually means. It might be performance, it might be customer satisfaction, it might be benchmarking. To me, it's all of those, but fundamentally as well, actually, I can be the best from a performance perspective. I can be the best from a benchmarking perspective. But fundamentally to me, it's actually you as our residents, our leaseholders, actually saying we are the best. Because that's what we're here to do. We're here to deliver a service to our tenants and leaseholders. And obviously we're focusing on leaseholders today, but that's exactly the same. We should be able to deliver the best possible service, and you should be able to say, Hackney Council is delivering the best service, and you're happy to tell us that. Once we get to that point in time, then I will be happy. Prior to that, I won't. But we have an approach. We work around our customers, making sure that we provide easy access for you to get things done. And we recognise that's not necessarily Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. It's 24/7 access. It's about providing support to those who need it. Some residents will need more support than others, and we tailor that. We're clear about what we will do and what our service offer is, but also within that clear around actually what we won't do. And I think it's important that we have an approach where we're efficient and act early to prevent problems arising. So we have that focus on early intervention and prevention. We're developing a new service model, as I've touched on, where we want to provide online self-service option. So that's available 24/7 as a first point of contact for yourselves. So you'll be able to access your accounts, see what your leasehold charges are, and be able to interact with us through that portal. We want to provide that self-service in a supported way to make sure that people that need assistance to do that have got that. And we also want to be able to target support to vulnerable residents as well. I think it's one of the things that really came out of the pandemic, just how vulnerable some of our residents are, some of our leaseholders are, so how we recognise that we can do some of that. And the focus for today on the event is a mixture of pre-recorded and live sessions. We're going to have a focus on the recent launch of our gas safety checks that offer, which currently only applies to leaseholders in buildings of 10 stories or above. We have a pre-recorded presentation from Leasehold Advisory Service, who will be there to explain their role and the assistance that they offer leaseholders and freeholders. Because we want our homeowners, yourselves, to know where to go to get independent advice and the support, and Lease, which is what they sometimes, the Leasehold Advisory Service are known as, have put a presentation together for us. So that will be really, really helpful and important, I think. I think later on in the event, we've got the interim head of asset management, who's going to provide some key information around our strategy for looking after the housing stock. And I think it's important within that we recognise it's about how we engage and how we have active communication with yourselves, particularly around improvements, much earlier than probably we have done in the past in some times. And then finally, at the end of the session, sorry, I've just missed one. We've got the IT initiatives that I've talked about that Daniel will take us through. And then at the end of the session, when we've finished, we recognise the importance of well-being and the welfare of residents. And I think that's something that's, again, as I said, been reinforced by the pandemic. So we do have 2 videos that are about 20 minutes, 40 minutes in total, that around well-being and one around yoga. So if you've got time at the end, I think they will be well worth watching. That's from me to start with. The next session is it's a pre-recorded video from the chair of the resident resident liaison group, Steve Webster. We work very closely with the RLG to make sure that we're using them as a consultative group, but also it's an opportunity for them to get involved as well and review some of the ways we work in. They have a subgroup that has reviewed our approach to leaseholders and freeholders, and we're building some of those into our session at the moment. So Steve's presentation talks about the initiatives that we're working on together. So I'll hand over, and hopefully somebody who is far better with technology than me is going to start the video. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Steve Webster, co-chair of the Resident Liaison Group, or RLG, and the Scrutiny and Service Improvement Group, known as ZIG. I'll be talking about co-producing a service improvement plan for leaseholder and freeholder services. Firstly, I'll explain a bit about the RLG. Our membership is made up of representatives from area panels. We have 7 independent members and representatives from the Street Property Forum. Membership of the RLG is made up of council leaseholders, freeholders and tenants. The ZIG is a task and finish working group set up by the RLG. This means the purpose of the RLG is to scrutinise and influence policy and work with housing services to improve service delivery. The purpose of ZIG is to work in co-production with housing services to produce a service improvement plan for leaseholder and freeholder services. Members of ZIG have identified a number of key service areas that need improving for leasehold services. SIG and Housing Services have been working in co-production on an improvement plan for the following 6 areas. Number 1, communication, including Section 20 communication. Number 2, leasehold customer services. Number 3, internal communications. Number 4, accuracy of estimates. Number 5, management fees. And number 6, gas and electrical safety. Working in partnership with Housing Services has led to the progress and positive outcomes so far, such as leaseholder customer services, reducing agency staff with the outcome of an additional full-time role. B, dedicated email and phone numbers to contact leasehold services. The outcome has been specialised emails are now in place. Number 2, communication. Major works and Section 20s are often late. Improved communications required. Outcome, Section 20 guide has been drafted and once approved will be on the Hackney Council website. Work is also ongoing to complete the service improvement plan for leasehold services. If you would like to contact us with any questions relating to this presentation, please contact us on rlg@hackney.gov.uk.
Thank you, Steve. I think just to pull out a few little areas of Steve's presentation, I think the RLG are a really important group to us, particularly around engagement. The challenges as well, and as Steve said, the SIG group that's been looking around our leasehold and freeholder service have provided some real challenge and recommendations forward that we're looking at, and progress is being made on those. Just to hone in on one area, and the timely issuing of Section 20 notices, and containing the comprehensive information for that is really important to us. I think some of my staff, when I talk to them over the last 4 months, that they'll have heard me talk about what I call the mum test. And that's about, is the service that we're providing good enough for my mum? If it's not good enough for my mum, it's not good enough for anybody. And it's the same here. Any of our loved ones, my mum's not a leaseholder, but my son is a leaseholder. And I look at any service and is that good enough for my loved ones? And I think some of the things that we've done, or the way we've done them, we've done what we need to do. And I think within this, we're looking at, how we can provide information, that's consistent level of information, but that goes above what is statutory required, for all schemes, so that we're actually giving notice of our plans well in advance. We're actually having real meaningful two-way consultation and engagement with leaseholders and freeholders, to gather your views, to help shape what we're going to do. So I think it's really important, the work that the RLG and the SIG subgroup do, because it does provide us with a challenge that certainly I'm keen to accept and move forward. I'm going to hand over now to Gilbert Stowe, who's the Divisional Head of Tenancy and Leaseholder Services, and he's going to take a more in-depth look at some of the key issues and areas of our service.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Gilbert Stowe. I'm the Divisional Head of Tenant Leasehold Services. I think it's best to describe the areas that I'm responsible for, because there are quite a few. And you will see that quite a number of the areas that I'm responsible for impact on our leaseholders. So could you move to the next slide, please? So as Head of Tenant Leasehold Services, I'm responsible for the leaseholder right to buy services, which includes services to shared ownership. Income services, which is about rent collection, and that includes our financial inclusion service, which provides support to vulnerable residents. Our housing management service, which is basically the housing officers who are responsible for the neighbourhoods in which you live. Our antisocial behaviour service, which is a centralised team that deals with lots of very serious incidents of antisocial behaviour, but also includes our resident sustainment team, which provides supports to those residents who are less able to fend for themselves with regards to the sustainment of their tenancies. We've also got the resident participation team, who have a wide remit, which includes working with our tenant management organisations, our travellers, and also our community hall services. So as you see, is quite a wide remit, but today we'll be focusing on the leasehold right to buy services that we provide to leaseholders, freeholders, and shared owners. Next slide, please. I just wanted to start my presentation today with a brief look at the past 20 months or so. Since the very first lockdown took place back in March 2020, many residents of Hackney have had to adapt to contacting us in different ways, such as via online chat, emails, and we very much appreciate the effort that you've put into doing that. Over this period of time, much of our housing services had to be run by staff working from home, and we had to increase the ways in which we got in contact and engaged with our homeowners. However, as Steve has pointed out, we do recognise that more work needs to be done to obtain contact details for all our homeowners to further improve our engagement with you. We do recognise that the digital inclusion of our residents has significantly increased since the first lockdown, as many residents have adapted to spending more time in their home. So this is one of the reasons that we've tried to do this first virtual event. Because it's our first one, we would very much appreciate receiving your feedback on your experience of the event. And with this in mind, we'll be emailing you afterwards. Next slide, please. I can't go past today without mentioning the impact of COVID-19. Steve has mentioned some of the impact already, but as it has had a major impact on our residents and our staff. For our staff, it meant adjusting to working from home suddenly and changing the way they worked. This gave us many challenges, and we recognise the impact this may have had on some of our residents with the reduced visibility of our staff. In the early stages of COVID, we did take time to focus on and reach out to the most affected amongst our tenants and homeowners. The information we gathered enabled us to understand the particular circumstances of affected residents and to offer assistance, or indeed signposts for tenants and homeowners to available assistance. This assistance took many forms and at times involved recognising hardship and giving homeowners longer time to pay their service charges, or indeed signposting them for bereavement support when needed. There was also an impact on our blocks and our estates. Many of you may know, many non-urgent repairs were postponed. The lifts, the door entry systems and communal areas had much more traffic and more use of which had impacted on our services. Our green spaces had far more utilisation than ever before, both on our estates and in the public realm, which also stretched our services. Next slide, please. On top of all of this, on the 11th of October 2020, we were the subject of a severe and devastating criminal cyber attack. A year on, we still remain significantly affected. Whilst we did get a lot of workaround solutions up and running very quickly, they were not perfect, and in a lot of instances, those workarounds are still in place. Again, we recognise the impact this may have had on residents. On a positive note, this has given us a real opportunity to build back better and to better meet our needs and those of our residents. There will be some more information about our IT systems and the work we're doing later on when Daniel Finney will be speaking to you. Next slide, please. Right, so Nevertheless, we are in a period of transformation. Even though we had a double whammy of COVID and the cyber attack, we were still committed to making improvements to our services. This has not just been about housing it, but also our central customer services as well. We recognize that even prior to COVID, we needed to make improvements, and we were providing to the homeowners. As mentioned by Steve Webster earlier, we also have worked closely with the Scrutiny and Service Improvement Group to prioritize and implement service improvements that he has already mentioned, and more. Some things that we have done in the process have included Hackney being the first council to publish all of our fire risk assessments online, and we will continue to lead on improving fire safety, listening to our residents, acting on independent advice, and investing in our homes and buildings. In the early stages of lockdown, we did reach out to homeowners to try and identify those that may be vulnerable, and we used this opportunity to collect up-to-date contact details. This is ongoing, and we would remind you all, if you change your phone number or your email address, please let us know. We want to ensure help is given where possible, and that we can get in touch with you when we can, when we need to do so. We are working on measures also to identify those who are subletting, and we are working with our colleagues in the private sector housing team to identify those who may be subletting to multiple households. We know there are more people subletting that have been registered, so we are working on contacting them, and also how we can engage with the tenants of subletters. It is very important that we know who is living in our properties. We also, as Steve Waddington has mentioned, we're also working on improving the information we provide to leaseholders, including a guide to Section 20 consultation and an improved process on how we deal with disputes. We hope very shortly to have a new page on the website, which will provide information on how we are performing in different areas, and we are working on developing a newsletter for our homeowners. Next slide, please. So, Steve mentioned earlier about the survey that we've had for 2021. The tenant leasehold survey, satisfaction survey, was independently carried out earlier this year. We arranged for an independent tenant and leaseholder satisfaction survey to be carried out during the summer and autumn of 2021. And we received 5,000 tenants and over 1,400 leaseholders took part. We've only just received the results, so the headlines, I want to be able to give you the brief headlines. We are still scrutinizing those results, and we'll be publishing them on our website as soon as possible. The timing, being after months of lockdown, may have impacted on the results, which generally show lower levels of satisfaction than when the previous survey was carried out in 2019. So some of the key results include our tenants express higher levels of satisfaction with the repair service than our leaseholders. Both tenants and our leaseholders said it was not easy to get through to the right person. And when they did make contact, our leaseholders were less satisfied with the fact that the staff were able to deal with their problems. The results show that less leaseholders than tenants are satisfied that the council listens to and acts on their views. Our leaseholders felt their service charges represented less value for money compared to our tenants, who expressed greater satisfaction with the value for money of their rent that they pay. Finally, both tenants and leaseholders generally expressed high levels of satisfaction with their neighbourhoods as a place to live. So those are just some key highlights. We do plan to publish the results of those surveys in more detail on our website. Next slide, please. Finally, there are some asks that we would like from you. We know that some of our residents working at home more may have provided an opportunity to do alterations to their home, or some residents may have started operating a business from home. I would just like to remind residents that you do need to request permission from us to carry out alterations. If you haven't already done so, you can do this retrospectively. It's very important that we are aware of any alterations so we can ensure it will not cause any issues to other residents or integrity of the block in which you live. If you are operating a business from your home, again, you will need permission from us. Although the lease states you cannot operate a business from home, we do recognise that times have changed and will consider cases on a balance as to whether they cause nuisance to other residents. So, I think that's the end of my presentation for this morning. And I'm now going to introduce two pre-recorded presentations. The first of which is one from our gas operative, Melvin Drayton, and informs you about the offer we recently launched, which gives leaseholders in properties of 10 stories and above the option of having an annual gas safety check carried out by the council's DLO. As you will hear from the presentation, we intend to extend the offer to all leaseholders and freeholders after a 6-month trial period. The second presentation is very timely, as we're all experiencing high energy bills and could benefit from the advice and tips from our colleague Angela Oko, the council's specialist in energy and sustainability. In her presentation, she will describe the offers on offer. So, thank you very much, everyone.
Hello, I'm a gas operative from Hackney's gas section. Part of our remit is to undertake gas safety checks for tenanted properties. We carry out in excess of 20,000 gas safety checks to tenanted properties each year. I am very proud that the DLO's remit has been expanded to provide gas safety checks to leasehold properties on request. Please note this is not an annual service. We may extend the DLO's service even further in the future, but the purpose of this presentation is to focus on gas safety, which is very important for both the council as a landlord and all residents. It is very important for leaseholders and freeholders to have an up-to-date gas safety check. We recognise that during periods of lockdown and other times associated with COVID, some certificates have lapsed. We encourage homeowners to give greater focus to the importance of gas safety, especially as COVID has resulted in people working and staying home for longer periods. This means that the gas appliances are in greater use and we want to ensure that they are safe. It is especially important if you are subletting leaseholder, as you need to provide a copy of your up-to-date gas safety certificate to your tenants. Of course, all owner-occupiers also have a responsibility to have an annual gas safety check carried out. There is a registration process for those who sublet. The leasehold team is ensuring that all subletting leaseholders are complying with this registration and are annually providing their tenants with a valid gas safety certificate. I am pleased that in September we launched this service for buildings of 10 stories and above. We chose to commence this initiative for buildings of 10 stories and above to gauge the level of interest and to develop our booking system to cater for the possible demand. We are conducting a 6-month trial before potentially rolling it out to properties in other building archetypes. Hackney's DLO engineers are fully qualified and work to a high standard, and also carry out a carcass test where communal boilers are installed. If you are a leaseholder whose property is in a block of 10 stories or greater, please contact the Repair Hub on 0208 356 3691 to have your annual gas safety check carried out. To find out more about the gas safety check and certificate, please visit the leasehold section of Hackney Council's website. Thank you.
Hello there, my name is Angela Urker and I'm the Senior Energy and Sustainability Officer at Hackney Council. Here I want to give you some information about energy efficiency and how it impacts on fuel poverty. I'll be covering the following topics: what is fuel poverty, changes that you can make, fundings available, other advice on energy efficiency. What is fuel poverty? A household is considered to be fuel poor if 1. They are living in a property with an energy efficiency rating of band D or below. 2. Once the cost of heating is paid out, it leaves the resident with a residual income below the official poverty line. Fuel poverty is driven by 3 key factors. 1. A home's inefficiency. 2. Energy usage or the fuel cost. And 3. Household income. We can address fuel poverty by making our homes more energy efficient and also by applying some small behavioral change, which includes, say, for example, setting your thermostat to a constant temperature, keeping your radiators unobstructed, having a more thicker curtain and keeping them closed, especially when it's dark, utilizing special energy tariffs, for example, the Economic 7, where you have electric heating. There are also larger changes that we can make, such as wall insulation, new heating system, i.e. a new boiler or heat pump. Please note, the larger measures are likely to be procured by Hackney Council for the whole block. There are 2 types of heating system. There is a communal heating system and then individual boilers. With regards to the communal heating system, the introduction of the Heat Network Metering and Billing Regulation of 2014 means that a heat meter is installed in your property, which allows you to monitor closely your energy spending and your energy using. But for the individual heating system, currently the gas prices are really very high. This has placed enormous pressure on consumers, particularly in this cold winter. It is important that you educate yourself on energy efficiency best practice to minimize the cost to you. Residents can also consider switching providers. However, with the current surge in energy prices, the industry's recommendation is to stay with your current provider for now. Many suppliers have multiple tariffs, one of which may be suitable to your need, but please contact your energy supplier for more information. Please note, while it's important to keep the heating, we also want to prevent condensation and molds in our property. And to do this, we need ventilation. Keep your window trickle vents open your window while cooking, and switch on the extractor fans where applicable. There are funding sources available, such as the Energy Company Obligation, the ECO, Hackney Green Home Program. There are also help with paying your bills. You have the winter fuel payment, Warm's Home Discount Scheme, and the cold weather payment. For more information about energy savings, please visit the following website, and thank you for watching.
I hope you found those two presentations really informative and interesting. I think certainly it's pleasing for me that we've been able to recommence and start the offering the gas safety checks to stories, properties 10 stories or above, and as Melvin said in the presentation, subject to demand, we'll look to see how we can extend that, and as well as whether there's any other services that we may be able to extend that that we carry out for the 20,000 council properties, that we can then potentially provide an option that leaseholders and freeholders can tap into as well. We're going to go into a 10-minute break now. a note, and it's really pleasing to see there's a lot of questions being posted in the question and answer bit. If you can put those in, we've got a question and answer session at the end, and we'll be going through as many of those as we can in that session. We do have just a couple of there's no prizes for these, but a couple of poll questions for people to think about during the break. I think they're going to come up on screen now. So the first one is in what year was the right to buy scheme first introduced in England? A, 1980, B, 1981, or C, 1997. And we'll give you the answer at the end. And the second poll question is, where was the first right to buy property sale made in Hackney? Is it A, Arden Estate, B, Nightingale Estate, or C, Woodbury Down Estate? So if you can have a think of those, just a little bit of light challenge, and I will see you all again in 10 minutes. Thank you very much. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you managed to get a cup of coffee or something in that break. We've got the two poll questions that we asked at the beginning. Hope you all had a chance to look at that. So the first one was, in what year was the right to buy scheme first introduced? The vast majority are saying 61%, and the answer was actually A, which I think 29% of people got. The right to buy was first introduced in England in 1980. And the second question, I didn't quite see the poll. I don't know if you can go back to that previous slide to see the poll numbers. No, that's I don't think we're able to bring the poll results up again. If we can go back forward. The technology. So yeah, so we've got 35% the Arden Estate, 30% Nightingale Estate, and 35% Woodbury Down. Pretty evenly split there. So the answer to that one was the first property was in Nightingale Estate. It was a 4-bedroom house sold for £11,700 with a discount of £8,400. How times have changed. Okay, thank you for that. Just a little bit of fun, but I think it's really interesting to see, the difference. We're now 41 years on with the right to buy, and like you said, it has made quite a significant difference to Hackney and the stock. The next part of the session is I've got two presentations. The first presentation is from the Leasehold Advisory Service, otherwise known as Lease. I think as a landlord and as a freeholder, it's really important that for us that you as homeowners know how and where to seek advice from, independent advice. And Lease are a really good organisation. They're not the only one, but it's really important that you do actually have access to that independent advice. So we've got a presentation from Lease, and then the second presentation is Daniel Finney. And Daniel's a program manager for our systems and digital work in the transformation team, who's been leading on a lot of the rebuild of our IT systems to make sure that actually we build back better from the cyber attack, and that we build around actually your needs as residents. So over to the presentations.
Hi, my name is Alara Urumaloye, Senior Advisor and Solicitor from the Leasehold Advisory Service, here to explain who we are, what we do, and leasehold reform. Lease is an organisation providing free initial legal advice on residential leasehold law for England and Wales. It is funded by the Department of Levelling Up Housing and Communities and the Welsh Assembly, and all advisors are legally qualified. We provide initial free legal advice to leaseholders in relation to issues of residential leasehold and park homes. Our advice is provided mainly by phone and by letter or email. We provide free legal advice on residential leasehold law for England and Wales. Our guidance is confidential and impartial. We offer 15-minute pre-booked telephone appointments. We answer 75% of our email and letter inquiries within 10 working days. We also run outreach events and on-location advice surgeries. This happens mainly when we are asked to attend an event or meeting. Website advice guides and information on leaseholders' rights can be found on our website at www.lease-advice.org. We also publish podcasts, guides about understanding your leases, and frequently asked questions, as well as articles summarising recent developments and issues in leasehold law. We also publish first-tier tribunal forms, decisions, and advice on making applications. There are proposals to make changes to shared ownership leases. Some of the main changes include the following. Initial share changes from 25% to 10%. Staircase in increments from as little as 1%. Introduction of a 10-year repair period. A reduction in the nomination period. The lease term to be extended to 990 years. For the 10-year repair period, there are two categories: external and structural repairs, and general repairs and maintenance. Under the 10-year repair period, there will be a general repairs allowance of £500. It is able to be rolled over, but is capped at £500 per annum. There is no limit on the amount of claims that a leaseholder can make, and the landlord is required to keep the leaseholder notified of the balance. The lease extension reforms that are also proposed include: owners of leasehold flats and houses will be or have been given rights to extend a lease up to 990 years with zero ground rent during the term. Setting calculation rates of premiums, and the introduction of an online calculator. Also removing the payment of marriage value. Now it's over to you for any questions.
Hello, I'm Daniel Finney, Programme Manager for Systems and Digital, and I'm here to inform you about leasehold systems and processes here at Hackney Council. We have several aims over the next year, and these include working on a new system that will help us to help you. Parts of the system will allow you to pop in and get the service you want directly through self-service. The system will work on mobile phones. You don't need a laptop or a PC to be able to access it. And through the system, we aim to provide more efficient services and clearer information to residents. We'll also increase our accountability to you through sharing information, facts and figures about the service we provide to you. We will implement the ability to set up direct debits more easily, and we will make regular updates on the Leasehold website about information that's important to you. I now want to introduce the modern tools for housing vision that we have, Our previous system was cumbersome. It made it difficult to provide all the information we would have liked to residents. The tools we're implementing will put residents first. We have a long-term plan for an online portal allowing you to see statements, raise service requests, and see current and completed repairs. We will co-design this with residents so that you have an input into how it looks and what it contains. We will also provide online digital notice boards for blocks with all the key information like refuse collection days, cleaning schedules, and planned maintenance. We will of course continue with our normal phone or in-person services, especially for those with less access to technology. So where we hope to be in the future is providing more accuracy and efficiency with leaseholders at the heart of our services. That means accurate service charges, working with a specialist software company to develop a tool which will achieve this, better information on the major works charges, giving you the ability to see where we are with repair jobs, and you'll be able to launch inquiries directly on the system and have it dealt with through the system. We'll also be introducing a cycle of feedback through satisfaction surveys to improve the service we provide. And thank you for watching.
I hope you found those informative and interesting. I think obviously Daniel's presentation talks about a lot of our aspirations and where we want to develop the system. And I know access to the information around your particular leasehold accounts is really important. So it's really important to me that we provide that seamless transition for you to be able to access that information 24/7 in a way that suits yourselves. So that's a key challenge that Daniel's working on. I think the presentation from Lease again was really good and informative for me. I think we recognise there's changes and proposals from government around leasehold reforms, and there's some of that included in the lease presentation. There's more information around that on the lease website as well. I'm now going to hand over to Robert Mathieson, who's our interim head of property and asset management, and he's going to take us through a presentation on a number of key initiatives that we're looking at around our housing stock.
Good afternoon, all. So I'm Robert Mathieson. I'm, as Steve said, interim head of property and asset management. Just by sort of way of introduction, I've only recently joined Hackney, having come from sort of similar roles at Islington. I have been working in social housing for over 30 years, having sort of spent a lot of time delivering large capital programs and strategic asset management systems, and working very closely with all residents, both tenants and leaseholders. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to tell you a little bit about sort of how the department set up and the areas of activities that we cover. Then I'm going to go on to talk about our sort of current work program and how we're sort of trying to increase engagement from residents, and then about the current procurement process that we're undertaking. Then I'll go on to talking about communications and finish off with talking about our asset management systems and sort of what we're doing there. So in terms of the property and asset management department, we've got sort of probably three main strands to it. One is the delivery of capital projects, and probably this is the one that you will have seen a lot of interface with. So this is for leaseholders, often the sort of big, large projects, which would be sort of re-roofing, perhaps new windows, cladding works, concrete repairs externally, and obviously sometimes works to in communal areas, and conscious that obviously generally we're not directly working in your homes in terms of sort of kitchens and bathrooms, but obviously that's something else that's picked up for our tenants. We then have another part of the department deals with maintaining and renewing our mechanical and electrical components, such as obviously our sort of communal boilers, lifts, electrical installations, as well as sort of door entry and other systems. Some of this work, and we work very closely with our colleagues in building maintenance, and obviously as part of this, we're very much looking at sort of changing direction in terms of net zero carbon, and how we can make sure that we have we work towards lower use of fossil fuels. The other area is our sort of strategic asset management. So this team looks very much at the data, and making sure that we have data obviously significantly suffered as a result of the cyber attack just over a year ago, and we're looking at how we can sort of rebuild the systems, which I'll come on to talk a bit about more later. And then also within that team, we cover off technical standards, so making sure that we have the sort of latest knowledge, and we can feed that into the major programs in terms of specifications and documentations, and that also feeds into when we procure new contracts, and a little bit more about that in a minute. So in terms of sort of our sort of ongoing works, and obviously conscious that a number of you will have sort of works going on your estate, we're looking and starting to looking to see how we can better engage with our leaseholders. Obviously looking how we can make sure that we've got really good information up front before we get onto site, how we can engage with yourself and other residents to sort of understand some of the sort of priorities, and combine that with the sort of knowledge that we have of the condition of the stock. And the idea to really of this is to be able to provide a much greater degree of cost certainty, both for Hackney, of course, and obviously yourself selves with that. We want to sort of we've got a team of in-house clerk of works who have responsibility for checking the quality of the work, but we want to we're looking to see how we can strengthen that, and making sure that we have a rigorous process to make sure that we get work to a very high standard. At the moment, we've got our cost control is done by an external consultant, Mace, and they've obviously working to deal with the day-to-day valuations for the schemes, but they also deal with the final accounts, and we're conscious that we've still got a slight backlog that we've built up in terms of the final accounts, and we're rapidly working to get those brought up to date, because that can enable us to sort of finalize costs and pass over to our colleagues in leaseholder services, so they can issue the sort of final reconciliation in terms of leaseholder bills. So next, I want to move on to procurement. We are at the moment in the process of a significant procurement exercise to replace our existing contracts. Some of them being in place for a number of years, have come to the sort of end of their term, and we're looking at a whole new suite of contracts, which gives us lots of opportunities to bring about enhancements, both in terms of making sure we, in terms of technical specification, looking forward to the future, particularly around, as I say, sort of new technologies and net zero carbon, but also about making sure that we have perhaps better control on our contractors, and obviously ultimately making sure that we are, and obviously, and yourselves are getting a value for money. With this exercise, we're looking very closely at how we can have engagements from all residents, obviously including leaseholders, and we're currently working on some sort of options as how we can better engage and bring in and help get residents to help us in some of the areas of the procurement process. So just coming on to sort of communications, conscious that obviously there are areas, and it's an area that I know needs, even in the short time I've been at Hackney, I know there's areas, significant areas for improvement in terms of the way we sort of communicate with you. I've sort of been to a number of sort of resident evenings and leaseholder meetings, and I can see the need for sort of improvements there. Obviously, we've got a formal route under the statutory consultation, which obviously we need to undertake, but we want to look at ways that we can communicate outside that, as well as obviously keeping to that formal structure, and really make sure that you have the information, particularly around cost, timing, works that are going to be carried out, so that you can plan around that you have the knowledge, obviously conscious also in many occasions that you will have, you may have your own tenants, and obviously want to keep them informed and notified of works, and manage around that. So finally, sort of moving on to systems, we unfortunately lost just about all sort of our systems within asset management as a result of the cyber attack. Obviously, the team before I arrived has done a sort of fantastic job in terms of trying to get collect and rebuild as much that data as possible. But one thing it does mean is we're currently in the process of looking at a new system. So we're very much taking this opportunity of making sure that we have the right system that will enable us to have good control of our data going forward, and that we can have look at things on a much longer term strategic basis, and we can make more informed decisions. And I think some of the systems will sort of allow us to do things like sort of better model sort of thermal efficiency from the improvements that we carry out in the major works, which may be of assistance, certainly will be assistance to us, and maybe assistance to some of you. So really to sort of conclude, I think there's a lot of work going on at the moment, but there's a couple of areas that we really want to sort of work on and enhance. Very much want to sort of drive forward the sort of current projects that are on site and bring them to their conclusion in a timely manner. Make sure that we resolve outstanding final counts, so obviously you can get your final reconciled bills. Work to sort of obviously progress our sort of current procurement to bring in new contracts in the latter part of 22, and also have engagement from all our from a number of residents in that to help us formulate some of the areas of that procurement process. And lastly, very much to work right across the board in terms of our communication with leaseholders and of course residents as a whole. So that's the sort of presentation that brings to conclude. My colleagues Steve and Gilbert will now join me for the Q&A session.
Thank you for that, Robert. And I think hopefully everyone can see myself, you and Gilbert. So we've got a number of questions. We've got 12 pages of questions that have come through, and that's really, really good. We will try and get through as many as we can. What we will do is all the questions that have been asked, we will set out in a question and answer leaflet or document at the end and send those out to people. So if we don't get to your question, I apologise for that. We've got half an hour. Obviously, I think there's the odd question that's come in with regards to a specific issue. Obviously, we can't go into details around individual specifics, but where they are there, we'll pick those up and move through with you. Okay, so the first question is around the government announced changes around the leasehold process. So are we anticipating or planning any changes to either the process or costs related to lease extensions in the coming period? And do you know when the proposal for lease extensions are likely to be implemented? And will these proposals again affect the cost of the extension? I'll pick that one up. I think at the moment, some of the indication from the announcements that government have made set out that it should simplify the process associated with leaseholders buying the freehold interest in their buildings or extending their lease. The proposals suggest that leaseholders will be able to extend their lease by a new standard of 990 years. Unfortunately, as of yet, the government haven't indicated whether cost will change or set out a timetable for when these plans will take effect from. So we're not able to update on the cost or timetable. But, as soon as government make us aware, obviously we will be making sure that all that's on our website and the links to that website. The second question, again, I'll pick the answer to this one up. The question is, I believe a nominated or self-elected estate resident for each estate in Hackney should hold a meaningful stroke significant decision-making position within the leasehold and freehold management team, as they will be the people who will know and truly understand the needs of the requirements of the residents of their respective estates. In addition, major work should be communicated with the residents first before taking place, and if possible, residents should be given options if this work should take place or not, if not critical. I think I'll take the second bit first. I think, as I've said earlier, communication, particularly around major works and Section 20 consultation. I want us to go beyond what is the statutory standards. We need to engage early on. We need to help shape that and get residents and yourselves involved in shaping that. So I recognise we do need to be more proactive and around our communication with yourselves around major works. With regards to having a nominated or self-elected representative in the management team, I don't believe that is appropriate. I think a number of reasons, but I will start by saying I think it's fundamentally important that actually we have yourselves involved in shaping the services that we deliver and understand what is important to yourselves. But as far as actually having individual residents from each estate involved in the management team, we already have a number of engagement processes, as Steve Webster talked earlier. We've got the RLG, and the subgroup of that we have the tenants and residents associations. So we have quite a good route of engaging around how we get your views, but I would encourage anybody and everybody to get involved in that. I think the downside of having individuals is it puts those individuals in an extremely difficult position. Because at the end of the day, even if they're elected, they're not going to, some people will potentially not vote for them, might vote for somebody else. And it puts those individuals as residents on the estates in potentially a really difficult position. So I don't think that's appropriate, but I fundamentally do think and encourage everybody to get involved, because we need to make sure the way we shape the services is around your needs. There's a question around the new legislation being looked at by government, and does London of Hackney have any news on that? I think I've picked that up, but Gilbert, do you want to add anything? There was some bits in the lease presentation.
There were some references to it in the lease presentation. I think at the moment, because of the government hasn't set out a timetable and so forth about when those changes are coming, I think it's best that our leaseholders or anybody else interested in it should refer to the Leasehold Advisory website. We will also, as information becomes available, update our website with any advances in that area. But at the moment, as we said in the presentation, we have not had any timeline as yet as to when those changes will be coming forth.
Thank you, Gilbert. There's another question, I'll come to you on this as well, Gilbert, is can leaseholders be sent a copy of their leasehold account transactions showing all credits and debits every year as standard?
Yes, currently we do send out on request copies of people's transactions showing credits and debits. I think what we want to do is go beyond just providing paper copies. What you heard from Daniel Finney's presentation is that we're very keen to develop a portal which allows our leaseholders and freeholders and shared owners access to their own information 24/7. And that portal will also be transactional in the sense that they will be able to make payments, and they'll be able to download information from that portal and so forth. So we do think that that's the future direction for the service. Nevertheless, we will still maintain, for those people who need it or want it, the ability to request a copy from us. But we do envisage that in most cases, people will be happy to access the information for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Gilbert. There's another question linked to that, but obviously somebody said the leasehold, the portal sounds really promising. We believe it is, and obviously it says, will a breakdown of receipts be available in there? The aim behind that is actually you'll be able to click into something, and it will give you the reason and the rationale and the breakdown behind it. So it's not just be the bill. The aim of what we want to develop is that when you click onto a particular bit, it will have the breakdown of how that has been calculated that sits underneath it.
That's correct. Yes.
So another question, I'm going to come to Robert on this one, is there an update on planned asset management in light of the financial impact of the cyber attack?
Okay, thank you, Steve. Yes, in terms of the sort of planned sort of asset management, I'm taking the questions mainly from in terms of work ones, but I'll cover off the systems one as well. So in terms of work, obviously during COVID, there was some schemes were halted and delayed as a result of COVID, but we're now back completing those schemes. So in effect, there has been a delay on a number of schemes. So those, as I said in my presentation, will work through to complete them. In parallel with this, we're working on our procurement process for the sort of new schemes that we'll be able to deliver with new contractors. So the cyber attack isn't the driving reason why we halted. There's been no halting sort of specifically relating to that in terms of the schemes. Obviously, we have had challenges with information, but the sort of COVID has had more of an impact on that. In terms of, just in case the sort of the question was also veered in terms of the sort of planned asset management systems, that obviously they were taken out by the cyber attack. We are advanced in terms of looking at a new asset management system, which we will look to move forward in terms of its implementation. Obviously, taking the opportunity of looking for the best system that's available that can help drive that strategic asset management process for us. Hopefully that will cover it.
Yeah, thank you, Robert. There's a bit of a technical one coming up here, Gilbert. So
yeah, I'll take that.
I'll just read it out. So HTML,
yeah.
The land certificate transfer document covenant contained within the 1993 document from Hackney Council, not to use the property other than as a private dwelling house for occupation by a single family, subject nevertheless to the number of persons occupying the property not exceeding the permitted number as specified in section 326 of the Housing Act 1985. Is this covenant for the house to be only used as by a family still valid?
Okay, really good question. Generally, the general rule is that such covenants in a transfer agreement, i.e. your lease, remains in place unless we, the freeholder, specifically agrees to removing it. However, we do allow properties to be sublet where, even though this covenant is in place, as long as certain conditions are met and the registration of the sublet is completed with us. Information about how that can happen and further information on that can be found on our website, or indeed please contact our leasehold team. We'll be able to take you through the different nuances to this. Yes, so general rule is that it is prohibitive, but we do make exceptions.
Thank you, Gilbert. I think, as Gilbert said in his presentation as well on that you know, we recognise you're not meant to run businesses from home, you know, and that is within the agreement. But the nature of things are changing, so we will consider those on a case-by-case basis. But for me, the fundamental bit there is it needs to not negatively impact on other residents, and that will be key to our assessment. A question about, is the RLG involved in looking at the process by which urgent repairs are handled? Is this service under review in general? Because quoting myself back to me, which is good, it doesn't currently pass the mum test. I think for me, I mean, RLG, they have the ability to look at whatever they want. We don't stifle them. We don't say they can look at this, look at that. I think one of the things that I've noticed and recognised since I've started in Hackney is that you know, as a result of the pandemic and then the cyber attack, we've only been carrying out urgent repairs for 15 months, and we only started our back to full service repairs in July, towards the end of July when restrictions were lifted. That resulted in a significant backlog in work, and we have a backlog of over 7,000 repairs at the moment, which we're working through. So I recognise our emergency and urgent repair service has not been as good as it should be, and it doesn't pass the mum test. Because I've asked myself that question. Some of you may have seen there's been some announcements, there's been some information in our homes. Actually, we are investing a significant amount of money, another £1 million in our repair service. We've got adverts out. We're going to be recruiting 26 additional operatives, over 30 posts in total. so that we've got significant extra capacity to be able to make sure that the urgent repair service and all of the repair service that we provide, obviously we don't provide all of that to leaseholders and freeholders, but is as good as it can be and is good enough for my mum and good enough for you. Next question. Did I get it right that you said there's a repair service for leaseholders? So, Gilbert?
Yes. The short answer is no, we don't have a repair service for leaseholders. What we have got on offer now is the annual gas servicing to be carried out by one of our gas operatives who works for our direct labour organisation, DLO for short. We do have plans, though, we would like to, with residents' permission, to offer additional services to our leaseholders and freeholders and homeowners for other types of repairs. So we want to see how our pilot with the gas safety annual checks go first, but we anticipate that will be successful, and then we'll come and consult you guys about the type of things that you want to seek in terms of a repair service, and we will see how we can work to deliver that. So I'm very excited about the fact that we've extended gas safety checks to our leaseholders. We really do want to make sure that going forward we are able to offer other types of services. I just wanted to make another quick point. The gas safety checks are available for our leaseholders, those leaseholders who currently live in their homes. Leaseholders are subletting, generally speaking, also can access that service as well, because we do want to encourage our subletting landlord leaseholders to ensure that their properties are safe. So if you are having a property on subletting a property which is on the 10th floor above, you can also access that service. Thanks.
Thank you, Gilbert. Another question regarding service charges. Our building insurance charges increased by 30% from last year, as has the block cleaning and repairs. How does the council justify this? They've challenged the amounts and requested receipts and calculations, but no response to emails. Who's the appropriate what is the appropriate response time, and who should this be? I'll just start with the response time. If you've not had that response, I apologise. Our response time should be 10 working days. Like I've said, we have got a lot of workarounds with regards to where we have to manage all of that, because we don't have a leaseholder system at the moment. So we recognise that it's taking longer. I think, we've got the leaseholder email addresses and the details out there, but Gilbert, do you want to give a bit more input on the detail?
Yes, I'm happy to. Let's start with insurance, building insurance. Unfortunately, we obviously procure a contract for insurance from specialists in the market. The premiums they charge us are reflected in the premiums that we pass on to our leaseholders. Unfortunately, those premiums can vary, and most times they go up. And so we do have to pass on those costs to our leaseholders. We are currently, you will be receiving a notification soon or around a new leasehold procurement, a new insurance procurement, and hopefully that will again give you more information about the leasehold insurance charges. In terms of other service charges, for example, cleaning repairs, we do collect the information and audit that information from our colleagues who provide those services on behalf of our tenants and leaseholders, and they do. Those charges are audited, and unfortunately, because of inflation and increased cost of service delivery, and also particularly if there's a high number of repairs in the communal areas which we contribute to, then that could lead to increased costs. I think over the past year, because of COVID, and because we've not been doing non-urgent repairs, you would have seen that, generally speaking, the for most leaseholders, costs of repairs have gone down, and indeed the difference between estimates and actuals are much more closely aligned than ever before, because we've been making extra efforts in order to check those figures, because of the fact that our systems are down. So we've had to be very meticulous and do a lot of this manually to ensure that we get this right. So I do understand that it can be frustrating, but when you see costs going up, but actually they actually can go down, given the right circumstances as well. Thanks.
Thank you, Gilbert. There's one that's got a number of different bits about repairs, but predominantly relates to contacting us and getting hold of us via the phone line. We appreciate, and it's about difficulties getting through, limited capacity to provide the information. I think again, I'll answer this one. We recognise that the corporate contact centre that covers and deals with all our telephone or the vast majority of our telephone contact into housing services is struggling. They've seen significant increase in demand. I was talking to the manager for that service earlier this week, and this week compared to last week, we had a 44% increase in calls into the contact centre. Obviously, we need to understand why all those calls are coming in, and I recognise some of those calls will be coming in because we've not got things right or we've not responded quicker, so people are chasing up to find out. So there's a number of calls that's in there that's fairly demand. I think as we set out, it's not here now, but once we've got this leaseholder portal and residence portal that you can access, you'll be able to access a lot of your information direct. We are as well looking to as part of the repairs hub, develop an online repairs reporting tool, so people will be able to report on repairs online as well. Recognising some of the challenges within the contact centre, and again, it was part of the information that we've released as a press release this week. We're recruiting more people into the contact centre, specifically around the repairs element. There's 12 additional part-time staff coming into the contact centre to cover busy periods to enable us to manage those peaks in demand. Next question is about the cost applied to the gas safety checks for subletters, or is there a cost and how much it will be? Yes, there is a cost. It's like we said, it's for 10 stories or over, and where leaseholders are subletting, they can request a gas safety check. The scale of fees start at £89, and those information, if you want, can be contacted through the repairs hub. But what I suggest we do when we send out the question and answers to this, that actually we post something specifically online that gives the detail and breakdown of the fees for the gas safety checks. Okay. Also, there's just one question, obviously. I want to speak about permission to install solar panels. Gilbert?
Yes, thank you. We don't allow leaseholders, unfortunately, to install solar panels on our blocks. It's just no, sorry. However, if you're a freeholder in a property which is not associated with a block, you do need to seek permission from us in order to do that. So you can email us on e-service charges service.charges.gov.uk in the first instance for details of how to apply for permission to carry out the alterations.
Okay, thank you. One for Robert. One of the how to do videos suggests that we only use HSE approved mold treatments. Just popped into my local supermarket. None of the mold removal products are HSE endorsed. Can we advise on recommended products? Actually, I've read that. I'm not sure we can advise on individual recommended products at the moment. So I'll not ask Robert to answer that.
The only thing I
specifically want to say, Robert.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of can't sort of recommend any particular products, but all I can say is the product that I think was shown in the video, I know it is or was recently available from a B&Q. So I know that's, you know, there are places that particular product is available, but as Steve said, I can't really give specific recommendations on particular project products, but the one that was shown in the video, it was recently available from B&Q.
Thank you, Robert. I think the importance is there, you know, we're not picking out individual ones, but it's the fact that, you know, we need to make sure the advice and guidance we're giving is ensuring your safety and everyone's safety. A question around, are the council interested in buying back right to buy properties at market value, or also selling smaller properties to the same leaseholder? Gilbert?
Yes. The short answer is yes, we do buy back some property in certain circumstances. In order to find out more about that, I do think you need to email us on service.charges@hackney.gov.uk. It's quite complex, so for me to give you an answer straight away like that. But in circumstances, it can be done, and sometimes this involves us offering the value of the property, offering to buy back the property with a sitting tenant value for the property, which is not exactly the same as market price. So the circumstances would have to be quite unique in order for that to happen. So in order to find out, please email us on servicecharge@hackney.gov.uk. Thanks.
Thank you, Gilbert. We're getting through these. I don't think we'll get to the end, but we'll keep going. We've got another 10 minutes, I believe. So how do I know if my property was insulated when it was done some time ago? Robert?
Yeah, obviously on sort of specific ones, I think if you write in with the details of your property right into I think, well, probably the first thing is if you write it and drop me an email. It's robert.matheson@hackney.gov. I'll make sure it gets directed to the right team. We obviously don't have full data on all our stock, but where we have data on the particular property, your particular property, we can provide that with you.
Thank you, Robert. One for Gilbert in relation to his presentation around leasehold tenant and satisfaction survey results. Were given as a comparison between tenants and leaseholders. I'm not sure this. I'm sure this was not the intention, but it did slightly seem to portray leaseholders as being more whiny than tenants. This comparison is unfair. However, if I understand the way service charges work, unlike leaseholders, tenants do not pay directly for repairs and do not share concerns about protecting the value of their investment that poor repair service threatens. So I think that's the crux of the question.
Yeah.
Gilbert?
Yeah, I'll answer that. I think actually the question asker has got a good point. I think probably it would have been made more sense to compare to the previous survey in 2019, leaseholder satisfaction to their previous satisfaction rating, the previous survey. So I think they have a good point. And yes, it was not intentional for it to come across in that way, that you were more whiny in that way. Of course not. I think when we do the more detailed analysis to put it on the website, it will be much more about comparing the changes between the two different surveys, whether we're better or not. Generally speaking, we think we are worse than we were 2019, and I'm not very happy about that in the slightest. I do think it means that we're going to have to work very hard to redress those areas where we're weakest. But overall, we want to increase satisfaction to a level which makes us very proud, and also yourselves very proud of the fact that you live in Hackney. I do think that the issues can be quite different for tenants and leaseholders, and I would challenge the writer of the question around do tenants generally think that less about the value of their property and the condition of their property? And the answer is, I would argue they think exactly the same. The difference is that you've invested a large amount of money in your homes, and therefore you want to maintain the equity. So I do understand the sentiments that you're coming from. I think that's all I want to say on that. So yeah, I think the questioner is right. Should have looked to phrase those questions differently, those answers differently.
Yeah, I think, thank you, Gilbert. I think we have got, and when we share the details, we do look at comparison of leaseholders now at this survey compared to the 2019. And as I said at the beginning of this event, I recognise satisfaction has reduced between 2019 and now. There's a lot of things that have been outside of our control, but there's a lot of things that are in our control as well. So, satisfaction has dropped for tenants as well as for leaseholders. And I come back to what I said as my vision, where I want housing services for Hackney Council to be, whether that's delivering services to tenants, leaseholders, freeholders. I want you to say we're the best, and I'm not going to be satisfied until you do. So I recognise we don't get everything right now, but I think hopefully what you'll take away from this is that there's a desire to improve, there's a challenge to improve, and some of the things that we've shared with you, particularly around the work that Daniel has been sharing, is that we will be getting to that point, where you can access a lot of the information, and we'll be able to deliver a much better resident experience. And again, housing staff have heard me talk about experience and resident experience rather than resident services, customer services. We can be polite, we can be pleasant, but actually if what we do in the interim bit is we keep you waiting, or we don't respond, but when we do respond, we're really nice and polite. Your experience of delivering and receiving that service from us is not very good. So I'm challenging housing services to actually deliver the service and look at that service from the resident's perspective as to how it would feel to receive that service ourselves. So that's the direction that we're going in. There's a question around is the leaseholder advisory service or a comparable service available to freeholders in respect of disputes relating to service charges? Gilbert?
In short, Lease will offer advice to freeholders on estates who face charges to service charges and estate works. So yes, as long as you're paying service charges to us and you have an issue, Lease will be able to advise you.
Thank you. A question around the ability to extend one's lease. Is that being impacted on by the cyber attack, and how do I go about extending my lease? Gilbert?
Yep. The cyber attack has not, fortunately, has not had any effect on the council's ability to process lease extensions. So if you want to do it, please do it as soon as you can. You do need to issue something called a Section 42 notice on the council in order to notify us you want to extend your lease. But please contact us first, the property sales team directly, and they could talk you through the process.
Okay, thank you, Gilbert. We're coming to the end. We've got a minute left. I appreciate we've not got through everybody's questions, but we will respond to them all. I'm just going to have a quick look through. Will we be able to access all correspondence on this new system? The answer to that is yes. That's what we're aiming to do. Everything related to your account will be available for that. There's a question about how do I get a copy of my flat deeds. I don't have any details of the original deeds. They can be accessed. A copy of the lease or the transfer can be obtained directly from the Land Registry Office. I think that's all. The others are really long questions, so I apologise that we've not been able to get through all of them within the last half an hour, but we will respond to them all and we will post those questions so that there's a response for everybody to see. Okay, many thanks for that, Robert and Gilbert. I think we're coming to the end now, so I think one of the things that we've got is a live prize draw, subject to technology working. So that you're going to look at this. So I'll hand over to you.
Right. Thank you, everyone. You will know from the invitation you had to this event that all attendees have been entered into a prize draw. So the first prize is a free gas safety check by RDLO, and plus a £40 gift voucher, a love to shop gift voucher. The second prize is a £30 gift voucher from the same organisation, and the third prize is a £20 gift voucher. So we are going to do a bit of a lottery. I'm hoping my colleagues are ready for this to happen. And as you can see, there's that little colourful wheel of fortune going around in circles, and I'm going to say stop. Oh, is it stopping? Right, so by somehow I'm going to be told who that is. I will find out any minute.
This is the less technical bit where we're having to look at.
Yes.
Who is the 100?
Yes, I have now got a winner. Where is? Oh, I did have a winner. It's disappeared on me. Right. The winner is a Mr. Olorunfemi of. Oh, I'm not supposed. This is given an address. I'm not supposed to say that, I'm afraid. Could you give me the area where that is? Mr. Olorunfemi.
I think we can.
Yes, it's Mr. Olorunfemi of Frampton Park. Thank you. Okay, I'm ready for the second draw, please. Stop. Thank you. So Mr. Olorunfemi gets a free gas safety check plus a £40 voucher. Our second prize holder or prize winner will get a £30 voucher. And I will be told who that is in a moment. A Mr. or sorry, it's not Ava, it's a G. All right, so it's a Mr. A Dude, O Dude of Woolwich Way. Thank you. And finally, can we spin the wheel of fortune again? Thank you. Stop. Thank you. I'm waiting for that name to pop up. It's a Joseph Falami. A Mr. Joseph Falami is our winner of our £20 voucher from Woodbury Down. Thank you very much. The operator of the Wheel of Fortune, I really appreciate it. So congratulations to you all, your winners, and those vouchers are winging their way to you. And indeed, we'll be in touch with our first prize winner to let them know about the details around the gas safety check. Thank you very much. So I will now hand over to Steve to give you some final words. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Gilbert. And I've just seen a comment come up that all the winners were only men. I can guarantee you there's no equality issues there. It's a random generated number, and you know we need to make sure that the winners were randomly chosen. There's no predetermination of anything. I hope that's the end of the formal session for today. I hope you've enjoyed and hopefully got some information out of it. Like I say, I apologise we didn't get to everybody's question and answer, but we will respond to those and post the results to that. As I said at the beginning with regards to the event, we do have 2 videos that will run now for just under 20 minutes or around 20 minutes each. One around mindfulness and one around exercise at home. So I thank everybody for attending. Really appreciate you giving up your personal time, and hope you've got something out of it. And certainly, I think some of the questions have set some of the tone for us around where, as leaseholders and freeholders, you think the things that are important to you is from a service perspective. So thank you very much, and hope you've enjoyed it. And the first video will start in a second.
Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening for whenever you will decide to do this meditation. Whichever time of the day, it will be a nice time to do this. Before we start, my name is Fran, and I will guide you through these 15 minutes of relaxation, meditation time. Let's start by taking a deep breath in through the nose and breathe out. Breathe in. Let's circle the arms out over your head. Join the hands together, and as you breathe out, just smooth the hands down slowly in front of your face, your heart, and rest your hands peacefully on the top of your knees. Your hands facing up, upwards. Take another deep breath in, expanding your chest, and breathe out, just letting go. Take another deep breath in, making the inhaling nice and long and slow. And pause and exhale in the same slow motion till your chest is empty of air. In the next few minutes, try to keep this way of breathing. You have the choice of sitting comfortably on a chair or on a cushion, or if you feel like, you can lie down on your back. Find a position that is comfortable for you, where you can stay for the next minutes of this relaxation. As you find your position, just focus on the space between your eyebrows. Relax your forehead. Maybe you're going to feel your eyes getting heavy. Maybe you're going to stare at something that is out of focus of your actual sight. Or maybe you just want to close your eyes completely and retreat into yourself. As you found your new position, take another deep breath in and let go through your mouth. Take another deep breath in through your nose and breathe out, relaxing your shoulders, your chest, your hips, your arms, your legs. Take one last deep breath in through your nose and sigh out and let go. And stay. Focus on your feet. How do your feet feel like? Do you walk a lot? Do you do sport? Or do you just sit, having your feet on the ground? Do you wear comfortable shoes? Do your feet feel free? Or do they feel constricted? Try to bring your attention to your toes. Maybe you want to move your toes a little bit. Maybe you want to stretch your toes. Maybe you like to point and flex your feet. Maybe you like to do a gentle rotation of your ankles in one direction and the other. And then just relax your feet. Notice how they feel, without judgment. It's just noticing how they feel like. Take another deep breath in and breathe out. and just say in your mind, I relax my feet and toes. Feet and toes, relax. I relax my feet and toes. In your mind, I just move up to your calves and knees. How do they feel like? Do they feel tense? Is there any pain, especially in your knee joints? Again, we don't want to take any judgment. It's just noticing how they feel like. As you breathe in, maybe try to contract your calves. And as you breathe out, let go. Breathe in, gently contract your calves muscles again, and as you breathe out, let go. Just do it once more. And let go. Try to notice now if there is any change. Again, without judging your body, just embracing how it feels like. And we say to ourselves in our mind, calves and knees, relax. I relax my calves and knees. Knees and calves, relax. I relax my knees and calves. We move up to our hips and belly area. Again, how does it feel like? Is there any tension in your hips? Breathe in, balloon your tummy out, and breathe out, gently bring it in. Breathe in, balloon your tummy out, and breathe out, gently bring it in. Breathe in once more, and let go. Try to notice if there is any tension left in your abdominal area or in your hips. Again, not judging your body, but accepting the way it is. And we tell to our belly and hips to relax. Hips and belly, relax. I relax my hips and belly. Now we move on to our chest and shoulders. Try to feel if there is tension in your shoulders, if there is any sort of feeling in your chest. Without passing judgment, we just notice how we feel like. We take a deep breath in, expanding the chest, and breathe out. We let go. Breathe in, expand the chest as much as you can, and breathe out. Let go. As you breathe in, maybe you want to visualize your rib cage and chest like an accordion that expands. And as you breathe out, it contracts, squeezing all the air out. Breathe in once more, lifting your shoulders to the ears. And as we breathe out, we let go. We do it again. And let go. We do it once more. And let go. And stay in this new body position, trying to see if there has been any shift in sensation. Again, without passing judgment. It may have happened or not. We just embrace and accept our body for what it is. And we tell to our shoulders and chest to relax. I relax my shoulders and chest, chest and shoulders, relax. I relax my shoulders and chest. And now try to bring your focus on your back and buttocks. Try to feel if there is any tension, any discomfort. Maybe you sit a lot, maybe you stand a lot. Try to feel how your muscles, your spine feels like, without judging it, just noticing how it feels like at this moment, just at this moment. Breathe in, open up your chest, and breathe out, let go. Breathe in again, and breathe out, let go. Once more, and let go. Trying to feel how your back and buttocks feel like, if there is maybe a little shift in tension. And we tell our body to relax and stay in this relaxation. And we focus on our arms and hands. Maybe you want to move your fingers a little bit. Maybe you want to rotate your wrists both directions. And gently let go. Try to feel your arms and hands heavy, resting beside you or on your knees. And tell your arms and hands to relax. Arms and hands relax. I relax my arms and hands. We move to our head and neck. Try to feel if your neck and head feel free of tension or if there is a heaviness somewhere. We breathe in, and as we breathe out, we try to let go of any tension or heaviness that it might be stored there. Take a deep breath in, filling your body with nourishing air, and as you breathe out, push away any heaviness and tension that it could be there. Breathe in again, feeling the fresh air entering your nostrils, and breathe out, feeling the warm, used up air that is leaving your body. Take a few moments to feel if there is any tension left in your head, in your neck. Again, without passing judgment. It is how it is, and we accept it and we embrace it. And we tell our neck and head to relax. Neck and head, relax. I relax my head and neck. And as we come in to the closing of this relaxation, we take a scan of our body, our thoughts, our feelings. Just let your thoughts, your emotions pass by as clouds in the sky. Acknowledge them and let them go. Just tell your body, your mind, and your heart to relax. I relax my body, my thoughts, my feelings. I relax and let go of my body, my thoughts, and my feelings. You can come into this relaxation anytime that you want and feel like. You can stay in this relaxation for longer than this if you wish. Otherwise, thank yourself for finding the time to allow yourself to relax. And I wish you a nice and peaceful day. Thank you very much. Good day, my name is Fran. I'm going to guide you through these 15 minutes of fusion Pilates yoga. We start by lying down on our back, Shoulders and shoulder blades are pushing down onto your floor or your mat if you have a mat. Take a deep breath in, expanding your chest, creating a space between your spine and the floor, and as you breathe out, just slide the pelvis in, imprinting each vertebra onto the mat. Breathe in, open your chest, and breathe out. Close that space. Breathe in once more, and as you breathe out, hollow your tummy in. Breathe in, stay in your imprint. Breathe out, pull the navel in towards your spine. As you breathe in, we just lift the legs on a tabletop position. Hug your shins or your knees and roll from side to side. Let's place the hands on the knees and circle, opening the hips. Bringing synovial fluid to the hip joints. Circular movements are always good for our joints. And move in the opposite direction. We do a few circles in both directions, and we focus on the right leg. So we interlace the fingers on the shin, and we extend the left leg, flexing the foot. Press the shin into your chest, aiming to your right armpit. Breathe in and press. Breathe out. Let go. We take the outer part of the shin with the right hand. We extend the left arm at shoulders level, and we open up the knee and hip to the right side. If you feel comfortable, you can look to the opposite direction. We come back to the center. We take the outer part of the knee with the left hand, open up the right arm at shoulders level, and we twist. Again, you can look towards the extended arm or up to the ceiling. Just see how your body feels like. Try to go with your body, not against it. And we come back up. We leave the right ankle onto the left knee, and we are in this square position, flexing the foot. If you feel that the stretch is enough, you can stay here. Otherwise, you can lift the left leg. Maybe you want to interlace your fingers under your thighs as long as your shoulders stay onto the mat. Or maybe you want to extend the leg completely. Take a couple of breaths, making sure that there is no tension in your body. And gently we let go, and we give our shins a nice squeeze again. We pass onto the left leg, so interlace your fingers around the shin and extend the right, flexing the foot. Press the shin into your chest, aiming towards the left armpit. One day the knee will be into the armpit. And we take the left hand around the shin, open up the right arm, and we just pull towards the left. Maybe you want to look towards your extended arm, maybe you look towards the ceiling. Just feel how your neck is more comfortable. Breathe in, we come back to the center, we just take the outer part of the shin or the knee, and we go to the opposite direction. Again, you can look towards the extended arm or towards the ceiling, depending on how it feels like. Just try to work with your body without judging how flexible it is or how strong it is. And we just leave the left ankle onto the right knee, and we come back in our square position. Now try to notice if there is any difference from this side to the other. Usually there is. One side is always different from the other. Again, we don't want to judge it, it's just noticing. If you are comfortable here, stay, otherwise you can lift the leg. Maybe you want to interlace your fingers under the thigh. Again, if your shoulders are on the mat, maybe you want to extend the right leg. Take a few breaths in this position, and we come back and give the shins a little bit of a squeeze. And we want to extend the legs and the arms, give it a shake, and we stay. Now we want to fire up the abs a little bit. So we breathe in, as we breathe out, chin to chest, we lift up the shoulders, and we go one side and the other. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and slowly we come back down. Breathe in and out, we come back up. Maybe you want to support your neck, and we go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and we release. And we bring the legs in a tabletop position. We place the hands under the thighs. Now, if you have lower back pain, just bring yourself up slowly to a sitting position. Otherwise, we are going to do a couple of rolls using the abs. We come up and down and up and down and up and down and up, and stay. You can stay in this position, you can help with your hands, you can leave or you can extend. Have a couple of breaths in this position, bend the knee, we have another roll, and we come up into our tabletop position. So your hands are under your shoulder. Micro bend your elbows so that the weight is on your shoulders and biceps and not on your wrists. The wrists are really small and we don't want to charge them with too much weight. Spread your fingers wide, pressing down the tips on the fingers and the knuckles so that you have a nice grip. Your knees are under your hips, and we breathe in, we push the floor away, tucking your chin in. Breathe out, open your collarbone, extend your spine. Breathe in, arch your back like an angry cat. Breathe out, extend, look up. Breathe in once more, and breathe out, and come back in your tabletop position. We extend the arms, the hands, one hand forward. Breathe in, arch your back, and breathe out. Sit on your heels. Breathe in, arch your back, come forward, engage your cores. We stay, bend your elbows, breathe out, we come back up, arch your back, sit back down. Breathe in, forward, breathe out, back. Breathe in, forward, breathe out, back, and stay. Stay in your child's pose. Breathe in and breathe out. And slowly come back to your tabletop position. Turn your fingers towards your knees and we gently rock backwards and forward. We just want to warm up the wrists. And we rotate the hands outwards. And now you can give shake from side to side, or you want to do rotation. If you do rotation, always do both ways. Come back to stillness, fingers facing each other. We repeat. Just let your body go wherever it feels like. Maybe you want to close your eyes so that you focus more on how it feels like rather than how it looks like. Come back to stillness. And now very carefully and gently place one hand, maybe both, on the top of the hand, and we just go backwards and forward. And come back on your all four. Breathe in. As you breathe out, pull your stomach muscles in. Breathe in, extend opposite arm to opposite leg in one straight line, looking down between your hands. Breathe out. Come back. Breathe in. Extend. Breathe out. Back. Breathe in. Extend. Follow your breathing. Once more, we hold it. Breathe in and out. Knee to the elbow and out. Knee to the elbow and out. Knee to the elbow and stay and out. Other side, we hold it. Breathe in and out. Knee to the elbow and out. Knee to the elbow and out. Knee to the elbow and out. Breathe in and out and out. And we extend the right leg, lift, bend the knee, flex the foot. We kick up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And in. Other side, lift, bend, flex, up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and in. Back on your child's pose. Slowly, we come back up on our cross-leg sitting position. Roll your shoulders out for 1, for 2, for 3, and stay. Breathe in, interlace your fingers. Breathe out, extend toward the ceiling. Breathe in, bring the fingers to the chest. Breathe out, arch your back. Breathe in, interlace your fingers behind you. Breathe out, extend your arms, opening the chest. Breathe in, let's stretch the right shoulder and the left. Extend your arms toward the ceiling. Maybe push your elbow down. Maybe you can look for your hand in a bind. And release. We repeat to the other side. And let go. Roll the shoulders, breathe in. Lift the left arm, place the hand behind your tailbone, breathe in, lift the right arm, lengthen the spine. As you breathe out, twist. Come back to the center. We repeat at the other side. Breathe in, we lift the right arm, breathe out, we place it behind the tailbone. Breathe in, we lift the left, breathe out. We open into our twist. Come back to the center, breathe in, side stretch, look up to the ceiling, breathe out, back, breathe in, side, breathe out, back. Roll your shoulders, breathe in, place your hands together and just bring them down in front of your forehead, your eyes, your mouth, your heart. Tuck your chin in. Thank you very much.